Good day folks, Sean here from Air Photography. So today DJI's launched a brand new drone, the Mini 4 Pro. They've taken an already impressive drone and packed even more pro features into it. They've added things like omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, the O4 transmission system, cruise control, waypoint missions, night mode. They've added 10-bit D-Log M and HLG. It's full of all the new AR safety features and a lot of other new enhancements. And we're going to take a look at all these new features in this video. So let's go ahead here. We're going to start with the new fisheye sensors that are included with the Mini 4 Pro. Just like we've seen with the Mavic 3 series, the Air 3, and now on the Mini 4 Pro, we have fisheye sensors at the front and just behind that at the back. That allows for omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. And that's actually a huge upgrade. If you're new to flying drones, this is going to be your first drone. Flying sideways can cause a lot of problems. With the Mini 3 Pro, we only had frontward facing obstacle avoidance, rear facing obstacle avoidance, and of course downward. But if you were flying sideways with the Mini 3, you had no side obstacle avoidance. And you can easily crash into something because you can't see what you're filming because the camera's pointed away. And not to mention if you're using any of the intelligent flight features. Things like tracking, or point of interest, or even master shots. With the new omnidirectional sensors, you're going to have a much safer flight and less chance of colliding with something. And it actually works quite well. Okay, so I'm just going to show you here quickly how the side obstacle avoidance works. You can see behind me there, I have a shrub, and I'm just going to move the stick sideways. And you can see the drone there is going up and around it now automatically because I have it set to bypass. Now I'm going to switch it over to brake, and we'll do that test again. So if we go to our settings here, we'll go to the safety tab and we'll select brake. Now when I pull it to the side, you can see it's not even going to barely move. We can go this way. It should detect me there. Yeah, it's stopping. But when I go the other way, again, you can see it just comes to a stop. If we put it back over to bypass and I pull the stick sideways, you can see now it's going up and around it. So the sideways obstacle avoidance works quite well. On top of that, DJI has introduced the O4 transmission system to the Mini 4 Pro. The O4 transmission system was first introduced about 6 weeks ago with the release of the Air 3. And now it is available on the Mini 4 Pro. With the O4 transmission system, it's rated for a range of 20 kilometers compared to the O3 transmission system, which is 12 kilometers. Now you're never really going to fly out that far, but what that does mean is that when you're in a congested Wi-Fi area with a lot of interference, you're going to have a good solid connection. When you're flying around obstacles like trees, perhaps buildings, you're going to get better penetration, just a much better performing transmission system. With the O4 transmission system, we also get the new set of controllers, the RCN2 or the DJI RC2. With it, you have a built-in 700 nit screen. You don't have to worry about mounting your smartphone. Everything just works nicely and it's nice and quick to deploy. With the DJI RC2, we also have fold-out antennas similar to that of the Air 3, which is a really nice feature and can allow for a better signal. You'll be able to buy the Mini 4 Pro with either controller, whatever best suits your needs. Now with the Mini 4 Pro, DJI has included some new intelligent flight features that up until now were only included with the Mavic 3 series and most recently with the Air 3. And that includes cruise control. Cruise controls allows you to set a speed and direction, and then the drone will fly in that speed and direction autonomously. Cruise control can be very useful in many different scenarios, and it can come in handy if you're trying to get creative, trying to grab certain styles of shots. I actually use that feature quite a bit, and I'm really glad that they've included it on the Mini 4. Now on top of that, they've also added waypoint missions to the Mini 4 Pro. And a lot of people are going to be very happy with that feature that you can now use it on a mini drone. Waypoint missions is great for making pre-planned flights, especially if it's a flight that you have to repeat over and over again. Now with waypoint missions, you can create a pre-planned flight that allows you to set waypoints on a map, and then the drone will go ahead and fly it autonomously. Another new feature that they brought to the Mini 4 Pro is advanced return to home. We've first seen this introduced on the Mavic 3 series, but it is now available on the Mini 4 Pro. With it, the drone will determine the best route home. It may change its altitude while it's coming home. In theory, it's supposed to help save battery power, which can be important in some scenarios. Of course, if you do prefer the old method of setting your return to home height, you can change that in the settings. If you go to the safety tab, you have the option there to enable or disable it. Now, something else that they've brought to the Mini 4 Pro that a lot of people are going to be very happy with, especially if you need to do grading, or you like to grade your footage. With the Mini 3 Pro, it was only capable of filming in desyn-like, which is a flat color profile that you can go in and grade yourself. But with the Mini 4 Pro here, they've brought over 10-bit D-Log-M, and that's really nice that they've done that. That kind of makes it uniform across all DJI devices. A lot of their new devices now all support D-Log-M. It can make color grading and matching content a little easier across multiple devices. It allows you to use LUTs designed for D-Log-M on all your devices, so it is a great new feature. Now with the Mini 4 Pro, it now supports all of DJI's new AR features. We've seen this introduced about a month ago on the Mavic 3 series. The first thing it does is it adds a visual virtual home point that you can see quite easily. So if you're out flying your drone and you lose your orientation, which does happen from time to time, all you have to do is spin the drone around, look for the virtual home point, and you know which direction to fly home in. It's a really useful feature and I use it all the time. It was first introduced back with the DJI FPV and the DJI Avata, but now it's on the Mavic 3 series and it's now also on the Mini 4 Pro. Another AR feature is when you're using return to home, it'll show you the path that the drone is going to take. That's very useful and it can help you keep an eye out for obstacles. The other AR feature that has been added is a drone shadow, and that can come in very handy when you're landing in a very specific spot. If you're going to land on something like a rock or a landing pad and there's obstacles around, you know exactly where the drone is going to touch down. Now with all these AR features, they can be disabled in the settings. All you have to do is go into your settings. There's a section for the AR features, and you can toggle each feature on and off, depending whether you want to use it or not. Another nice new upgrade on the Mini 4 Pro is that we now finally have an LED auxiliary light on the bottom. That can make landing at night a lot easier. It makes the drone a little bit more visible, and it can help keep the drone stable when hovering low in the dark. You can manually turn it on and off as well, and that can make spotting the drone up in the air a little bit easier. Now, for the most part, the camera on the Mini 4 Pro is the same as the Mini 3 Pro. However, there are some new features. First off, it supports new slow motion options. On the Mini 3 Pro, the max slow motion was 1080 at 120 frames per second. With the Mini 4 Pro, you can now record in 4K at 100 frames per second. So that's going to make for some nice 4K slow motion. On top of that, if you go down to 1080, you can now record at up to 200 frames per second. So that's nice for those who like to capture some nice dramatic slow motion footage. The Mini 4 Pro also still supports true vertical video. That's where the camera will spin on its axis. It will flip vertically so you can easily film for social media in a portrait aspect for things like TikTok, Instagram Reels, or YouTube Shorts. Now, another thing interesting that they've done with the camera is that they've added HDR to it. Now, the HDR is on automatically. Everything is filmed with high dynamic range. It's similar to what they did with the Action 4. You no longer have to choose to film in HDR. It's just going to automatically film in HDR when you hit record. Both the Mini 3 Pro and now the Mini 4 Pro can capture some absolutely brilliant content. It has a 1/1.3 inch sensor and it just does a really nice job capturing video. Now on top of that, DJI has also added night mode to the Mini 4 Pro. So that's going to be really nice for those who like to capture night footage, nice cityscapes. Again, we've seen that introduced on the Mavic 3, the Air 3, and now it's available on a mini drone for the very first time. Now, just like the Mini 3 and the Mini 3 Pro, there's actually two batteries that you can use with it. They have the standard battery, which is going to keep the drone under 249 grams, which is very important for some people. Or they have the Plus battery that will extend the flight time. With the standard battery, it's rated for 34 minutes. And with the extended battery, it's rated for 45 minutes. But the best part is all the batteries from the Mini 3 series are fully compatible with the Mini 4 Pro. So if you're going to be upgrading from a Mini 3 and you've purchased a lot of extra batteries, you don't have to purchase all new batteries again. All the batteries you have are fully compatible. And that includes the charging hub. You can see that the overall shape and size of the Mini 4 Pro, which is on my left-hand side here, is pretty well the same as the Mini 3 Pro. If we take a look at them from different angles, you can see that they're pretty well much the same. When we unfold them here, you can see they pretty well have the exact same footprint. However, one thing that is different, you can see on the Mini 3 Pro, we don't have any front arms. They changed that when they released the regular Mini 3, they re-added the front arms, I think more for stability, because the Mini 3 Pro could be a little unstable when it was taking off if it was on something that wasn't quite a level surface. but they have re-added them to the Mini 4 Pro, so that's kind of nice. It does make the drone a little bit more stable. Now, I'm not 100% certain, but I do believe that there are now antennas in these like there used to be. But as mentioned, I'm just kind of guessing at that. I will try and find that information out. Now, another massive upgrade for the Mini 4 Pro is its tracking. Because the Mini 4 now has omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, DJI has introduced a brand new tracking system. It's really dynamic and really easy to use. When you engage tracking, you'll notice we get this new menu where the compass is, and that allows you with just a touch to position the drone anywhere around you, a complete 360 degrees around you. You'll get a virtual line to show you the path the drone is going to take to get to that point. And on top of that, you'll notice 2 rings. So you can drag the drone position from the outer ring to the inner ring, back and forth, and that's going to set the distance that the drone is following you. The new system works really well. Of course, you can still do it manually using the sticks to position the drone, but that new software just works really well. Now, you can actually adjust the parameters of the new tracking system. If you go into the settings, you can set the distance at which the drone is following you at the different points and adjust things exactly the way you want it. Now, just something to keep in mind, you only get 2 rings, 2 distance rings when following or tracking people. If you're tracking a vehicle, you only have 1 distance that you can set. Of course, you can still move the drone manually, as mentioned, so that is just something to keep in mind. Now, I'm working on a separate video where I'm going to dive in a lot deeper into tracking. We're going to test it out to see how well it works. But I've been very pleased with my initial testing so far. Having the new sideways obstacle avoidance just makes you feel a little bit more secure when you're doing tracking. Now, just like the Mini 3 Pro, the Mini 4 Pro supports things like waypoint missions. It has all the features for waypoint missions and creating them, and you can get some really interesting videos, create some really interesting dramatic videos with that. But it also supports master shots and quick shots. So let's go ahead here. Let's put the drone up. So I can switch over to master shots, and I can select ourself on the screen there. We can go in and select all our different parameters, and then of course we just can hit start. Now, because it has that omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, you can do your master shots with a little more peace of mind, knowing that it's not going to fly sideways into something that the drone can't see. It's just going to go ahead and do its thing. When it's done doing the master shot, it'll just come right back to where it took off from or where it started the master shot. And from there, you're going to have the full video saved to the memory card, but you can go in and create little edits. They have pre-made templates, which is a really nice feature. You can get some really interesting content that way with very little editing skill. At any time during a master shot, if you're running into trouble or you see the drones running into trouble, you can just hit that red X there, and that's going to stop the master shot, and the drone's just going to stop and hover. Now, one thing you don't want to forget, especially if you're a brand new drone pilot, is DJI Care Refresh. Now, that is something you do have to purchase separately. You can add it to your cart during checkout if you're purchasing it directly from DJI. If you purchase it from another online retailer, you can still purchase it via the DJI website. I'll include some links below where you can go and read more about it and also purchase it. DJI Care Refresh, especially for a new pilot, just gives you that peace of mind. If something unfortunate happens, DJI will send you a replacement for a small fee. They've made some changes to it recently. You can get up to 4 replacement aircraft now within 2 years. They've lowered the replacement fee, and you can now extend it for a 3rd year. And it doesn't matter what happens to it, whether it's user error, you've flown it into a tree and it's been damaged, if it's landed in water and it has water damage, or even if it's flown away and you can't retrieve the drone, you can still get a replacement sent to you. Now again, as a new drone pilot, if you're going to be picking up the Mini 4 Pro as your very first drone, it's one thing to capture all this beautiful, stunning footage, but you want to be able to edit it and share it as well. Editing can be very difficult, but there's an app you can download that's free called LightCut. It is DJI's officially recommended video editing software. It's powered by AI, so it can do all the tricky editing for you, and it can actually produce some really stunning results. You can connect wirelessly right to the drone and edit the footage right off the drone without having to manually download it first. The AI software intelligently analyzes the footage and makes cuts and different things based on the scenery that you're capturing. It utilizes the metadata within the video footage, and you can export your content at 4K 60. Whether you have no editing experience, you can produce some really incredible results. LightCut's AI can even make use of some of the intelligent flight modes such as master shots, quick shots, and can auto-edit all that footage for you. There's even a feature called Aerial Auto Match. Basically, it matches ambient sounds to the footage it analyzes, whether you're flying in a forest, by the ocean, in a city, or a field. It's going to add some nice sound effects to make the footage look even more realistic. On top of that, you can go in and manually adjust things yourself. You can choose from many different templates to suit your own tastes. You can even do special effects like tilt shift, which gives you that miniature look. So that is the new DJI Mini 4 Pro. What an incredible little drone. It's amazing that DJI can pack so much technology into a small sub 250 gram drone. And that's really important for a lot of people. Some people, the only option they have is to fly a mini drone. And now with drones like the Mini 3 Pro and with the Mini 4 Pro especially, you don't have to sacrifice all the intelligent flight features. You have most of the features that the higher end drones have, all in a nice sub 250 gram package. And for me, living in Canada, that's really important because here in Canada, the government kind of looks at these as a toy. They're not nearly as regulated. Basically, they just give you a series of guidelines. We can fly them in places we can't fly our larger drones, and we can do more with them. So here in Canada and many other countries around the world, sub 250 gram drones are very important. On top of that, these mini drones are just super quiet. They don't attract a lot of attention, which can be really important when you're flying in public areas. You can put the drone up, and because it's so quiet, most people won't even know you're flying it. So yeah, what an incredible piece of tech. This is going to be a great drone for many people, whether you're going to be upgrading from the Mini 2, the Mini 3, or perhaps you're going to be buying your very first drone. Perhaps you already own something like the Mavic 3, but you just want a spare drone, something that is small, light, and convenient for travel, backpacking, or camping. Something like the Mini 4 Pro is going to be a great choice. You'll have a drone that can capture some fantastic video, plus you have all the advanced features that you're accustomed to with your larger drones such as a Mavic 3 or Air 3. Well folks, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you got some value out of it. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up and drop me a comment down below to let me know what you think of it. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.